I live in a town on the US-Mexico border, and there are two murders that really stand out. One happened on the US side, and the other on the Mexican side. I'm including both, just because of how much exchange goes on in between the town and how close they are. Most people have family and roots on either side, and both cases cause a lot of stirring on either side of the border. The first happened when I was a kid. A college kid named Mark Kilroy was partying in Matamoros, the town on the Mexican side. Back then, it was a huge spring break spot. Basically, all the kids who came to South Padre Island also drove to Mexico for cheap drinks, drugs, etc. This guy was basically trying to score some drugs, and like a dummy, he got in a van with some guys who said they could get him some drugs. Nobody ever saw him alive again. I remember his picture was on the news every day, and his parents were always on, asking for help finding his son. About a month later, a guy in Mexico ran a police checkpoint and the police chased him to a remote ranch. They found a drug stash house, and after interrogating the guy and the others at the ranch, they confessed that Kilroy and the others would be buried there. What they found was pretty gruesome. Apparently, the drug gang that ran the ranch were into black magic and performed human sacrifices. In total, they found the sacrifice remains of 14 other people besides Kilroy. Apparently, the drug gang believed that the human sacrifices gave them magical powers and protected them. Police on both sides of the borders were soon arresting people on either side of the border, including a pretty young student, Sarah Alderlit, at a local university here in Brownsville. She was the girlfriend of the guy and the priest of the clan. They even made a film loosely based on the crime Borderland. I wasn't living here when it happened, but I got a ton of emails and calls about it. It involved the couple, John Allen and Angela Camacho. These two got high on glue or spray paint, then while high began to hallucinate and choked and then decapitated their 3 children. Here's the gist of what I heard. While he and Camacho were high, they killed the kids' hamsters thinking they were possessed by demons. He killed them with a hammer. One of the kids saw this and started screaming. John and Camacho then also became convinced that the demons had also possessed the children. They began to choke, stab, and decapitate the 3 kids. After they did this, they ran outside and flagged down a passing police cruiser, who, seeing them disheveled and terrified, went to their apartment and found the gruesome crime scene. I live in a town where I think 11 murders went unsolved. I believe it was Letterman who joked if you want to murder someone, make sure you do it in Marietta, Ohio. There were 3 really bizarre murders, which I had some connections. Let me explain. I had nothing to do with any of them, but I know all 3 of the victims and one of the killers. The first one was a girl who lived up the hill from me. She was abducted and found dead off the road when I was still in high school. 2 years later, a girl I went to high school with was found in a Mount cemetery. There was little info, as is the case of most crimes in Mid-Ohio Valley were released, but someone later told me that the blood literally ran down the sidewalk and took a long time to clean. He was doing the cleaning, by the way. I was actually questioned about this because a slain girl had written my brother's name in one of her books, and I knew someone they suspected was involved. I did see her get into a huge fight when she was in high school, and that's when they asked about her. Of course, neither of these leads panned out because neither my brother or the guy I barely knew were involved. He was a suspect because he was in and out of treatment centers for psychological problems. I don't know if that ever has even been solved, and since the officials never released much details, there were some really creepy rumors going around that the woman had been sacrificed. You know, the usual satanic ritual bullshit. I knew both the murderer and the victim in the third one. They had transferred to Marietta College from Mesa Community College in Arizona, but were just friends. However, the male I had classes with and knew socially wanted more. When she made it clear that she wasn't interested, he poisoned her and stuffed her in the drain pipe. The kid was a little off, but I never thought he would murder someone, which makes it even more creepy because you don't think anyone you hang out with could do something like that.